All right, good morning, everybody. Mike, Landon, thanks for putting on a fantastic event today. As we look at some of the companies in the room, I can almost guarantee you this will be one of the least sexy demos of the day, but we see ourselves as really a critical enabler for most, if not all, of the technology companies in the room today. My name is TJ Rao. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer at Second Front. Second Front is a public benefit corporation with the stated mission of accelerating the delivery of technology to our national security ecosystem. Building software for the government sucks. Updating software for the government sucks. Maintaining it, sustaining it, operating in day two operations, this entire software delivery lifecycle for commercial companies operating in this market is brutally painful. This is why we built Game Warden and subsequently the 2F product suite. Game Warden is a fully managed platform as a service with an inherited security model designed not just to accelerate the accreditation process, but also to provide high quality day two operations and as close to a modern CI/CD process experience as possible while delivering applications to regulated cloud networks, on-prem, air-gap, and edge infrastructure. Since we launched the platform 3.5 years ago, Game Warden today hosts over 50 unique mission applications in production across both commercial cloud for highly regulated industries, as well as impact levels 2, 4, 5, 6, and JWICs for DoD end users. What I'm going to show you today is how commercial companies and government developers alike can deploy through a single pipeline with an opinionated design pattern and be made consumable where the mission needs them to be and help these teams focus on what they do best, which is building a great application for their end users. With the suite of 2F Workshop, Game Warden, and Frontier, you can truly build once, deploy anywhere. Now, our journey here starts with a software developer building a national security mission application. When they want to deploy a new application for the first time or push an update to an existing package, they simply Docker push to our registry. From here, you can see the push is successful and our CI/CD pipelines have been initiated. During this process, containers are updated to the latest version, kicking off downstream jobs to validate the Docker file, build the image, and most importantly, scanning and hardening for secrets, vulnerabilities, misconfigurations, and malicious code. In this example, you can see that 7 new vulnerabilities were detected during this pipeline run. This brings us to the next phase of the operation, securing for DoD standards. Now that the image is processed, we can log into Game Warden, where you can manage your services, authorizations, and application details. Our latest version here is at the top. You can see the pipeline was successful, and we have 7 unresolved vulnerabilities from the last push. Now, by clicking into the unresolved vulnerabilities, I'm brought to ScanLab, where I can quickly see the details of these 7 vulnerabilities, provide a justification or mitigation across all packages and images, reducing duplication time and remediation and mitigation. From here, you can address CVEs across your entire application from a single UI. Once I finish addressing these CVEs, the Second Front security assessment team will review mitigations or remediations for approval. Now that our image is clean and we've promoted this justification across these 6 packages that the vulnerability was flagged for, we'll move to compiling the package for authorization approval. As we move to authorizations here in ScanLab, I can see that my application is already authorized for IL4 with a pending authorization at IL6. And here I can review my full packages that are compiled to a comprehensive SSP and body of evidence, whether you're submitting a FedRAMP authorization or a DoD or intelligence community authorization. From here, I can quickly update the SSP to reflect the latest version of my image that I recently added, modify authorization boundary diagrams, check on the status of various requirements like SAST or DAS scans, and fill in any required fields that are relevant to my application. Once I'm complete with my inputs, Game Warden, the platform, will automatically generate the artifacts to include the SBOM diagrams, vulnerability and risk reports, and compile them for approval. The authorization process itself is inherently a governmental activity, but this is made quick and easy due to the rigor applied to the application and the managed hosting environment leveraging a previously authorized platform layer. For our application, now that I've received my authorization, I can now manage my own deployments of changes out to my approved networks. I can choose to deploy here in the dropdown from deploy to staging and prod, deploy to a single network, or deploy the version out to all networks and environments. Game Warden then automatically runs the pipelines and deploys these changes live to production. Now, as we shift into post-deployment and day 2 operations, I would like to introduce Watchtower. Once the application is live in production on a government network, all telemetry is pulled into our Security Operations Center for continuous security monitoring. Here you are seeing the authorizing official dashboard, where respective risk owners in the government, like AOs, ISMs, SCAs, et cetera, can log in and have oversight of the applications running within their boundary. In this example here, you can see I have 6 applications approved across 2, 4, 5, and 6. In the portfolio view, I can now drill into specific application details in production and see how many active end users each application has, the application's mission owner, body of evidence, assessed risk posture, et cetera. Watchtower also supports direct integrations via API to systems like EMAS or Xacta in order to meet the government where they are with their sources of truth and make the documentation flow seamless for government risk owners. Lastly, for today's demo, normally I avoid Navy demos, but since Mr. Finelli's here, we went for the maritime vessels. I want to showcase our newest product, Second Front, called Frontier. Frontier is an extension of Game Warden beyond cloud infrastructure, allowing application owners to ensure continuous operation in disconnected, remote, or low connectivity environments through on-prem or portable hardware devices with synchronization of updates across a federated ecosystem. Here you can see I'm going back to the original workflow for IL4, adding a deployment, selecting on-prem, authorization level, impact level 6, and we're going to promote this release out to a fleet of maritime vessels. As I go to view the environment, I can view a list of where my application is deployed across the fleet and the status of each instance. From this control plane, I can manage the various deployments of my application out to the fleet to include versioning, latest updates, and the status of each. If I open up one of these ships, I'm taken to Frontier itself and our fleet management admin console. From here is the fleet admin. I can see each of the ships and vessels, what applications are running, and can manage the devices directly from Game Warden. For each device, I can monitor the version of software deployed across my infrastructure, capacity of the server, and update configurations and parameters as needed. I can also view and administer the software applications running on the server and view any relevant telemetry. Not only can these devices run autonomously in a disconnected environment, but ship administrators can manage the syncing of software updates and telemetry back with the fleet administrator when they return to connectivity. So you can select updates, synchronization, and timelines based on the operating environment. In closing, for the last 3.5 years, Second Front has delivered across cloud infrastructure for the Department of Defense and intelligence community, and we're excited to take this platform to the edge where the mission matters. We'll continue to drive on our mission of delivering best-in-class software to our warfighters where they need it in a fully secure and compliant manner. If we believe the future of warfare to be inherently software-defined, every systems integration function needs to be productized to the maximum extent possible. Thank you.